Hello, Paul. This is Tom Destino, and this is my short video about why on earth I would want to work for you and for T360 Publications. There's really a few main reasons when I tried to boil it down after looking at websites and looking into your background, etc. The main point here, which I've already experienced, is this career shift I'm going through. I'm interested in new learning and new growth and new content, and that's really important to me at this stage. So I feel really fortunate that I've already had a sense of the new learning and the new growth and the new content with T360 by working on the SP 200 list with you down around Thanksgiving, before Thanksgiving. What I learned just from working on those short bios is doing all of that data analysis and research gave me a really kind of keen sense of the industry. And I have to be honest, the content of the industry I love. I absolutely think it's really exciting. After living in Asheville for the last 20 years and watching real estate markets bloom and grow and explode, that's always been kind of there in the area. So that's been interesting to me. Before that, we lived in Southern California where we experienced a similar kind of experience with real estate. So the content is very interesting to me. I'm very excited about working in it. And I'm grateful that I had some experience working on the top 200 list. Okay, so new content, new learning, new growth, that's fantastic. Another point, just a comment about T360. I think T360, after doing a bit of background, is a kind of journalistic goldmine. I mean, the kind of work that you all do is absolutely fantastic. I love analysis and research. As you know, I have a background in a PhD, which is all about data analysis and research. That's right in my wheelhouse, and I see T360 with all kinds of opportunities, wonderful opportunities for that. Also, to mention a wonderful reputation that the company has, and not least this new news network. So the kind of growth and development that's going on in the company itself, I think, is super fascinating. Okay, and then finally, number three, Paul Hagey himself. So Paul, one of the things that is interesting about you that I also share is that you seem to love to use context in your work. You love to contextualize what you do. That might sound a little bit ridiculous, but as someone who's always been interested in learning and learning development and growth, context is one of my favorite concepts when it comes to learning, and particularly language use. You seem to like to contextualize what you do. I've noticed that in some of your videos and presentations, the way you talk. I really appreciate that. Also with your blog work, I'm really interested in your work in Boulder, etc. That's all really fascinating to me, not just from a creativity standpoint, but also how you present it. So I see this, for me, a way of learning about from you that kind of work, that kind of expression, that kind of creativity, and that's super exciting and fresh for me. A couple other things about you that I find fascinating, which I sort of share, is that you're a biochemistry major who ended up in journalism. I think that's really interesting. You also spent time in a Zen monastery. I'd love to hear more about that. That's absolutely fascinating. And overall, the idea of shifting, about sort of the idea of sort of traversing different intellectual landscapes, biochemistry to journalism, I love the idea of being able to apply knowledge from certain areas to other areas. And then finally, along those same lines regarding creativity and language use, I noticed that you're a fan of Peter Schjeldahl. So Schjeldahl, someone I'm familiar with, certainly not an expert, but the point of connecting to Schjeldahl is the idea of the sort of artistic and poetic uses of language and allowing yourself to be influenced by that. I really appreciate that. And your own experiences, Paul. So those are a few of the main points that I would give you regarding why I'm so very interested in working with T360, but you in particular. Thanks, Paul. Happy New Year.